The Indian men's cricket team has suffered the most humiliating loss in Test cricket. A few facts that's shocking to any Indian cricket fan. This is the first time ever that India has lost all 3 matches in a home series. And this is the first time in a 90-year-long cricketing history that the men's Indian team have suffered a whitewash in a series at home. These are statistics that can shake the foundation that many of stalwarts in Indian cricket set up. Sources say BCCI is feeling the pressure, and 3 men in particular at the helm of affairs with that Indian dressing room are facing the heat for this unexpected defeat. One is, of course, Captain Rohit Sharma, man out of form, and India's best batter Virat Kohli, and the new coach Gautam Gambhir, who suddenly has one of his biggest challenges in front of him. Now, there are going to be closed room discussions and talks before India head to Australia for their next series. Rohit Sharma probably made quite a few miscalculations there, and he admitted to the same. Now, he's an endearing captain who didn't want to mince words, but his innocent words aimed and just to elicit a laugh or a smile only backfired. He went from this statement.
Clearly a misjudgment of the pitch. I did not read the pitch well enough, and we sit in this situation. Though in 365 days you will make 2 or 3 bad calls. That is absolutely fine, I guess.
This was at the start of the series, and then he went on to make this statement.
As a captain, I was not at my best in leading the team, and with the bat as well. That is from a personal point of view. All we had to do was a little bit of application, which we failed to do as a unit.
Many fingers have been raised at Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli in particular, who are at the last stages of their career. The fans have been ruthless, of course. Take a look. After that 2-0 loss, you felt that India could somehow turn things around in Mumbai. I'm just looking back a bit here. The venue for the 3rd test between the 2 countries, they did expect some Indian turnaround there, and it did turn, yes, horribly wrong on the pitch. A rank turner is what India requested, and it was served. And India's purpose of dismissing the Kiwi batters, yes, came true, but the Indian batters couldn't really match up to this. They struggled, and it was there for everyone to see. The only hopes came from the youngsters, and a bunch of those, just a handful. Yashasvi Jaiswal really proved his mettle against spin. Shubman Gill contributed, so too Washington Sundar, the late addition in that series that India made. Rishabh Pant played his part, and there were a few eyebrows that were raised over his dismissal in that 3rd test in Mumbai. It could have changed the course of the match. Yes, you'd think that in hindsight, probably even the result, but it would be foolish to speculate along those lines. But these things do have a ripple effect. Speaking of ripple effects, New Zealand ensured that they did their prep thoroughly. Can you imagine this to be the same side that was thrashed 2-0 by Sri Lanka just before they headed over to India for the series? Tom Latham, the captain here, took over from Tim Southee, and 2 youngsters with Indian origins showed India a thing or two about how things need to be done in these conditions. One was, of course, the batter Rachin Ravindra. In that first test, he was elegant and pretty much essayed a key knock that really tilted the balance in his team's favour. Next up, Ajaz Patel, Mumbai-born New Zealander, the same Patel who became the 3rd bowler and only the 3rd to take 10 wickets in an innings in Test cricket just last year. India managed to shut New Zealand out that time, but of course Ajaz Patel ensured he did not slip up this time around, making certain of a New Zealand win, and a very memorable one at that, making Rohit Sharma admit this was not according to plan.
Losing a series, losing a test match is never easy, but something that is not easily digested. We didn't play our best cricket. New Zealand played better than us throughout the series. There were lots of mistakes that we made throughout the series, and we have to accept it.
India were given a masterclass in the art that India boasts of themselves. A masterclass in spin, how to play spin and how to spin the opposition out too, by a New Zealander with Indian roots. But this has been a bit of a rude awakening for India because the calculations to making it to a third consecutive appearance in the World Test Championship final is getting very much more complicated. Here's how that points table looks. It's all really bunched up now because of this India loss. Australia has gone up ahead of India. Head coach Gautam Gambhir wouldn't have dreamed of experiencing this sort of a slump this early in his stint. The Aussies have the most number of games left too. When you look at that column, which tells you how many matches all these teams, these are the contenders that you're seeing on your screen, all of these teams heading up to that World Test Championship. The most number of games left is under Australia, giving them the best chance of making it to that WTC final. Sri Lanka, the new and improved side under Sanath Jayasuriya, are snapping at the heels of India. They have the opportunity to do something incredible here if and only if they stand up to Australia. That's the matches coming up, and South Africa. New Zealand and South Africa will fancy their chances, particularly South Africa, with New Zealand coming up against a hurting England side. This battle for the top two spots is going to get intense, and India has slipped up on areas that will only get more exposed when they make that trip to Australia later this month. Will they be able to come up with some plan to avoid the kind of embarrassment that they faced at home against a team that has never lost to that India has never lost to in more than a decade, is what we'll have to really look at and see.
Washington is all set for a presidential battle like no other.
In less than 90 days, it's either going to be him or me sitting in the Oval Office.
Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump.
All we want is one simple thing: get out on Tuesday.
A vice president versus a former president. As we head towards election night, Vantage will be live from the heart of the action, speaking to voters in this final stretch,
I'm still very undecided.
Very close presidential race.
tracking the campaigns as they make the last push. From exclusive ground reports to in-depth analysis, this is your one-stop destination for the presidential race. Join us on this special edition of Vantage, live from the White House in Washington, D.C.